Okay, page 5 in the journal is the problem-solving process. You need these two pieces of paper, one very long strip with a triangle there in the middle, and then this one, first thing you need to do is cut off the border. Just cut the border. If you need to at this time, pause to finish cutting. Okay, so this paper, we are going to be cutting, we're going to be gluing this paper, okay? So put the journal aside for a second. Pay very close attention to what I'm going to do, okay? This line right here, this horizontal line right here that separates the big words from all the little words, you need to fold along that line, okay? But you're going to fold backwards. So carefully pay attention what direction you're folding this paper. Everybody looking up here, pay attention, okay? Fold that backwards. So it looks like that. Flip it over, okay? Alright, now you're going to take your glue. Just a little bit of glue. Put a little bit of glue on the back side of that. Fold it over. Okay, and you're going to glue it flat. So you're going to glue white on white. Glue that flat. Okay. Alright, so that's glued down. Everybody understand what they're doing now? Check and make sure your paper looks like this. Okay, now lay it down so you see the lots and lots of words. Take that new top edge. You're going to fold it down and you're going to line it up with this, the other horizontal line. Like that. And crease it. Okay? So, look up here. This is what it's supposed to look like. That's folded over. And that top part's glued down. Okay? If you're not quite sure, turn to a neighbor, ask them to show you how to do it, or ask them to do it for you. Alright. Once you have that done, you can take this paper, page 5. Oh, before I forget, table of contents. Haha. Alright. The date, I'm going to stop doing the date here because I am recording these way ahead of time, so the date, whatever date today's date is, put that down. Problem solving process, that's your title. Problem solving process. Yes, you do have a practice worksheet that you will do this, so go ahead and write that in now. And this is all on page 5. Okay, make sure you get that in your table of contents. Alright, take this paper. We're going to glue this in at the very top. Okay, like this. Go ahead and glue it so it's kind of close to that, so it fits in there, just right under the top line there. Glue it down flat. Like that. Okay, so the problem solving process. I teach this very specifically for you guys, to make life easier for you. In your algebra classes and in other classes, and especially in this class, you have word problems, and word problems are a nightmare, and you hate word problems. Well, there's a process that we who do a lot of these problems, who've been doing it for decades, have learned. And we just learn it from experience. This is the problem-solving process. If you do this problem-solving process, life is easier for you. You can take almost any word problem and figure out the answer, even if you don't know the science behind it. So long as you have enough information, you're good. Okay? So, the problem-solving process. This is for your benefit. It also helps for me as a teacher to see you do your work, so that when you make a mistake, I can show you where you made your mistake. I can help you fix it because I know what the mistake was. If I just see that you have the wrong answer, but I have no idea how you got the wrong answer, I have no idea how to help you because I have no idea what you did wrong. Okay? And when I ask you to show work, I'm expecting to see the problem-solving process. I'm expecting you to see your work shown this way. Okay? So, the easiest way to teach the problem-solving process is through an example. So we have an example question right here. Underneath here are the different steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And a description of what you're supposed to do in each one of those steps of the problem-solving process. Okay? you probably will never read this again. But if you need to, it's there. That's why I pull it down. So if you need it, it's there. Otherwise, you probably won't read it. We'll just leave it covered up. All right. So the first thing to do is you always read the question. If a car is traveling at a velocity of 45 meters per second, how much time does it take to go 92 meters? Okay, so first step, the first thing you need to do are identify the variables. So I'm going to put a little number 1 here. Okay? First step, identify the variables. Any measurement you've got, write it down. Well, we've got a 45 meters per second. You need to write it down with its units. So m/s. Okay? Any other numbers? Well, we've got right here, 92 meters. That's also a variable. 92 meters. Any numbers, okay? It says here, record every measurement with units. Identify what is being measured by each number. Okay, so 45 meters per second. What is being measured? Okay, what is being measured when it says meters per second? Well, from your variables chart, you should already know this. Okay, so let me show you your variables chart that you should be memorizing because you have a quiz coming up. Meters per second. Right there, meters per second. We are measuring velocity. The symbol for that is V. Okay, so that is what we're identifying here. So, 45 meters per second, put a little equals, V for velocity. 92 meters, okay, meters measure distance, D. Okay, so we've got velocity and we've got distance. Now, mark the question variable. Step 2. Oh, sorry. Label each measure with the symbol. So there we go. That's what that's. There it is. Read the problem to clarify what it is asking for you to solve. What does the question want us to solve for? If a car is traveling at a velocity of 45 meters per second, how much time does it take to go 92 meters? What's it want? The question is asking us to solve for time. Time is the question. Symbol for time, T. Okay, so that's step 2. We are identifying the question variable. Put a question mark next to the symbol for the question variable. So you know what variables you have and what variable you want. That right there is essential. Okay, use the list of variables. So if you have like so use this list of variables, step 3, to focus on the question variable, that time, and find a formula that contains those variables. Okay, hint, there may be extra information. Right here, I need a formula that has T, D, and D in it. All right, well, if I look around and I give you a formula chart and you look on that formula chart, you're going to find the formula for velocity. Okay, so that was step 2. Step 3, the formula for velocity. Velocity equals displacement over the change in time. Well, this could be displacement, just these could be distance, time, change in time, same thing, even if the symbol looks a little different. So there you go. That's your formula. Velocity equals displacement over a change in time. Okay? We found our formula. Step 4, if necessary. Step 4 is one of those steps, if you need to do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. If necessary, rearrange the formula so it is solving for the question variable. Okay. The question variable, the question is T, right here. That's the question. Is this formula set up to solve for T? No. This formula is set up to solve for V. So you see how V is all by itself on one side of the equal sign? Okay? This means this formula is solving for V. I need it to solve for T. So I need to rearrange this formula. Well, if you're good at algebra, great. That should be easy. If you're not good at algebra, that's a nightmare. And for those of you who are like me, who don't like algebra, that's a nightmare. So I have a trick. I have a little hint. I have a little way to do this, to rearrange the formula without any algebra skills. For those of us who hate algebra skills. Okay? And this is what this thing I call, this little trick, I call it the magic triangle. Okay, so on your page, I'm going to show you how to use a magic triangle. I want you to go about halfway down the page. Okay? Take this other strip of paper that you got. You're going to fold on these two lines, and you're going to fold in. So fold in the right edge, right there. Fold in the left edge, and line it up with that line right there next to the triangle. Okay? So it should be folded so it looks like this. Okay? Now, we're not going to glue it in yet, but we will in a minute. This triangle in the middle, I want you to put a big uppercase T shape. Alright, now many of you may have seen this, may have learned this in another class, and if not, great. If you have, maybe I'll teach it in a way that makes more sense, or it'll just be a refresher. So, we can use the magic triangle. Alright, so halfway down the page, I want you to write this down. Magic triangle. And I call it the magic triangle because I think it's magical. Because it is so helpful when you suck at algebra like I did when I was in high school to make these rearrangements so much easier. Of course, I didn't learn this in high school. I learned this as a teacher. I wish someone had taught it to me when I was in high school. It would have made a lot less suffering. Okay, anyways. You can use this for formulas that have two different setups. Okay, so first let's do one over here. Over here, make sure the edge is folded over. I want you to write A equals B over C. So A equals B divided by C. Okay, there's a lot of formulas that have that arrangement to it. Okay, and a lot of them that we use in physics. Okay, that arrangement, we can actually put it into the triangle. Okay, so open up that flap, and I want you to write it again. A equals B over C. And right here, I want you to draw a triangle, just like the one that's next to it. And put a big uppercase T in the middle of it. So divide it into 3 sections. So we're taking that triangle and dividing it into 3 sections. Okay? Now, you see this A, B, C? Look at the B and C. Alright, ignore what's over here. Just look at the B and C for right now. You see how the B is above the C in the formula? I need the B to be above the C in the triangle. So the B is going to go on top, C is going to go on the bottom, and then A goes in the empty space on the bottom. Okay? That's how you put a formula that has this setup into the triangle. Alright, now, some formulas have a different arrangement. So sometimes they are this, like this, right? X equals Y, Z. So X is equal to Y times Z. When they're side by side, that means they multiply. So X equals Y times Z. We can also put formulas that look like this into the triangle. So open that up, write that again on the far side. X equals Y, Z. Okay? Draw a triangle. Put the uppercase T in it. Okay. Now, you see how Y and Z, so ignore what this is equal to, alright? Ignore that over here. Pay attention to this. Y and Z are side by side in the formula. I need them to be side by side in the triangle, so they're both going to go on the bottom. So Y and Z will be on the bottom because they're side by side, and that leaves X on top. Okay? So that is how you can put these formulas into the triangle. Now, once they're in the triangle, then you need to know how to use it. Okay? So, now you've got that triangle made. Now let's glue it in. Okay? So take that. You don't want to glue in those edges like that. So we want to glue it in like this. Take just a little bit of glue. You don't need a lot. Okay. There we go. Glue that down. La-di-da, la-di-da. There we go. Okay. Magic triangle. Okay. So there's your notes, the magic triangle. There's your little setup on how to put a formula into the triangle. Now, once you have it in the triangle, how to use it. So, let me give you an example. So down here, we're going to do two examples. We're going to do example formula shaped like that and formula set up like that. So first, we're going to try one of these. P, uppercase P, is equal to uppercase W divided by T. Okay? P equals W over T. That is a formula. Power equals work divided by time. Okay? Now, if you're given that formula, but you need to solve for the time or you need to solve for the work, you need to rearrange that formula. So, to do that, you can use the magic triangle. Without having to have any algebra skills, you can use the magic triangle, rearrange that formula to solve for W or for T. So first thing you need to do is be able to put it into the triangle. So, draw yourself a triangle. And try and put those variables in using this format. Okay, try it yourself. Okay, notice the W and the P, W and T. The W is over the T. That puts the W on top in the triangle, T on the bottom, and the P's in the empty space that's on the bottom. Alright? Now, what if T is the question? What if I'm trying to solve for T? Well, the way you use this triangle, you look at what you're trying to solve for. Once you've got into the triangle, you cover it with your finger. Okay, T equals. So write down T equals, and then you cover that with your finger. And what you have left is W over P. W over P. You just rearrange that formula. Okay? You just rearranged this formula, P equals W over T, to solve for T. T equals W over P. Alright? What if W is the question? Alright? What if you need to solve for the work? What if you don't know what that is and you need to know how to solve for that? Well, you draw your triangle, you write W equals what you want, W equals, and then you cover that with your finger. You see how P and T are left over and they're side by side? Put P and T side by side. P power multiplied by time. You just rearrange that formula. Woohoo! Alright. Now, you can always check to make sure you put in the triangle correctly. Alright. P equals, okay, if P is the question, cover the P with your finger. You have W over T. W over T. And you get back to your original formula. Okay? So there you go. That's how you can use the triangle when you have a formula set up like that. Alright? Let's practice one with this kind of setup. So here is the most popular common formula in physics. F equals ma. Alright? You need to be able to put that into a triangle. So go ahead and draw yourself a triangle. And try and put those variables into the triangle by yourself. The F, the M, and the A. Put those into the triangle. Where do they go? Okay, if you get stuck, use your notes up here. Figure it out. Okay, M and A are side by side in the formula. Okay, they're side by side in the formula. They need to be side by side in the triangle. M and A, and that leaves F on top. Okay, what if F force equals mass times acceleration? That's what those stand for. Force, mass, and acceleration. If M, the mass, is the question, if I want to know what mass is, M equals, write it down, M equals, that's what I want to know, then I cover the M with my finger. And you see I'm left with F over the A, F divided by A. I just rearrange the formula to solve for the mass, for the M. Okay? What if A is my question? What if I want to solve for A, the acceleration? All right, draw the triangle. Write down A equals, cover the A with your finger. You're left with F over M. F over M. Force divided by mass. Okay, so you've rearranged that formula to solve for the other two variables, M and A. Now you can always check to make sure you did the rearrangement correctly. F equals, okay, so if F is the question, you cover F with your finger in the triangle, and you're left with M and A side by side. M times A, the original formula. Okay, that is the magic triangle. Very, very helpful. I highly recommend it. If you're good at algebra, forget the magic triangle. You don't need it. But if you're like the rest of us, you probably would be very beneficial for you to learn how to use that. And I'm going to be using it a lot in class. Okay, so step number 4. I need to rearrange this formula to solve for the time. So, magic triangle. Here we go. Step 4, I'm going to use the magic triangle. T, D, so you see the D and T? D's on top, D's above T. So delta D, delta T, but delta D on top, delta T below. V goes in the empty space. Okay? And then T equals. Alright, that's what I want to solve for. That's my question, delta T. So delta T equals. That's my question, so I'm covering with my finger. I'm left with delta D over V. Delta D divided by V. I just rearranged the formula. I just did step 4. Okay? Step 5. Plug in the numbers. So write again delta T, but I know what delta D is. I have a number for that. D, 92. And I encourage you to write your units. So it says here, rewrite the formula and replace every symbol with its numerical value from the problem. Include the units for each value. So 92m for meters. It's going to be helpful, believe me. Then the velocity, the V. V is 45. 45 and then meters per second. Okay, so we plugged in our numbers. Now, finally, at the last step, now you use a calculator. Okay? Use the calculator, record the answer with significant figures and units. So, calculator, 92 divided by 45. Calculator says, so in step 6, the calculator says 2.04444444 on forever. Now, significant figures. Significant figures. How many significant figures should my answer have? Well, go back to my original numbers. 45 and 92. How many significant figures does 45 have? 2. How many does 92 have? 2. How many significant figures should my answer have? 2. So, 2 sig figs. So round this number to 2 significant figures, the 2 and the 0. Ask yourself if the 4, is the 4 going to round the 0 up to a 1? Nope, it's not. So my answer is 2.0. Now, I need to give units. You need to include the units. So, I'm solving for what? What's my question again? My question, I'm solving for time. Time is my question. Well, time can be measured in seconds, hours, years. If you look here, right there, it's going to tell you in the units. Seconds. That's what I'm solving for. And that right there is your answer. You didn't have to know anything about velocity. You didn't have to know anything about distance. You didn't have to really know much about time. You could do this problem, you could get the answer without really knowing the science behind it because you knew the problem-solving process, okay? The problem-solving process is how you're going to show your work for me. I highly recommend it. It is very helpful. It's good for you to use. It's a way for you to show me your work. And I'm going to be using it over and over and over again. And whenever you get stuck on a problem, if you use the problem-solving process, you'll usually figure out the problem without any other help. Okay? So, I highly recommend you learn how to do this.